Well, welcome back to our show right here on See Hear Love. We love that you've joined us on Wednesday.
Yay!
Right, and thanks. It's so good to have you guys back with me around the table.
To be here.
And hi, Kim in Nashville.
Hi, how are you guys?
We're well. How's it going? Your kitchen is so pristine and clean. It's just, I'm a little envious.
We're not your friends.
You know what? That's a lot to do with my husband.
Oh.
He likes it that way, and he just puts everything away. So I love him.
Okay, well, maybe your husband can come
He's a
to
keeper.
my house. And no, actually, Chris does a great job as husbands. But anyway, totally tangent. We can talk about that on our blog post later. For you viewers who are joining us, I just want to do a little recap because this week is about fear. And on Monday, we kind of unpacked and talked about Isaiah 41:10, which says, "Do not fear, for I'm with you. Do not anxiously look about you, for I'm your God. I will strengthen you and help you, and I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And if you were with us on Monday, we all shared about what that meant to us, about fears and what that promise of God meant. So that was great ministry time. But now you're going to get to know us a little bit more. So ladies, here we go. Wednesday today is all about sharing openly and honestly and authentically about our greatest fears.
Yes.
And why, and how we are pushing through and overcoming these fears. Well or not so well, straight up. This is being honest. So here it is, our greatest fears. Now, I'm trying to decide who I want to throw to and who should go first. And I see Cheryl like, hello, it's me.
No,
I thought you were waving.
No,
Or we could just throw to Kim in Nashville if you want to kick it off, Kim. Why don't we kick it off with you, Kim, in Nashville? Honestly, what would you say your greatest fear is and why?
Really, honestly, my greatest fear is anything awful happening to my children. That would devastate me. And I've actually woken up from nightmares, like sweating and crying because in my dreams something happened to one of my kids. And that, we send them out the door every day. And I'm like, well, okay. And so that, and also parenting them well and teaching them the things they're supposed to, know in life. And hopefully I'm doing a good enough job. But honestly, it's a daily giving them up and going, God, they're yours. I have this honor of being their mama, but they're yours. So I have to trust you. And it's that trust thing again. Right. But that is my greatest fear, is something happening to my children.
Wow.
That's a real fear.
Yes.
Like I think for a lot of people watching, and even for ourselves, the blended family, and your kids, I think that is something. But that's a good point, Kim. That you've got to say they're yours.
Yeah.
God, they're yours. And when they walk out the door, I trust you. Hand them over to you.
It's back to that surrendering you were talking about on Monday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for
not
sharing
easy.
that. Yeah, and your kids are great. You have done, and I just want to give a shout out to you. I don't want to get emotional, but as a single mom for those many years, Kim, you have done a phenomenal job at raising your children.
Making me cry.
I know, but really, I've journeyed with you, and 6-7 years on your own.
My goodness.
Raising 2 children, and your kids are amazing, and that speaks a lot to your faith and perseverance in God, really.
Good.
So
Well
I just
done,
want to
Kim.
affirm that to you. That great job.
Hats off to every single mom.
Yes.
We want to celebrate you in that moment too.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's such a good reminder. And Kim, I know that you're going to post either a vlog or written about further thoughts about how you've really sort of pushed through on those fears about your children on our site. Thank you for sharing that. Abby, your thoughts? What's your greatest fear?
All right. Well, I think I have a few, but a couple years ago, I actually lived through my biggest fear, which was at the time living life on my own. So I was married and I lost my husband. He decided to leave the marriage. So I actually had to face living life on my own. And but in all honesty, it was through that I discovered who I was, who Abby is on her own. And moving forward, what that has done, it's a constant battle, a constant forgiving I need to walk through. But God really took me on a journey in my faith and just in my confidence and my career, all that kind of stuff. And now moving forward and learning to love again and trust again, I think my biggest fear lies in failing again or being taken advantage again. So I guess it is big, and I'm trying not to, I will have to unpack this more on the blog. But I guess loving the wrong person.
Wow.
Oh, that's big.
I don't know.
No, that's huge, because when you've gone through a divorce, and look, I'm talking from experience, Kim.
Yeah.
You're talking from experience. I mean, look at the three of us who've all gone through a divorce.
Right.
And that was actually part of one of my fears, but I have another one, is to give your heart again, to trust somebody with yourself, because you've been so hurt by doing that the first time.
But can I take that one step further? I feel like that's every single woman's fear of being destroyed and trying to build those shattered pieces back, and then giving your heart to someone.
Again.
The conversation I actually had with the Lord when I was talking about loving somebody else, and who I am now, have a wonderful boyfriend who is honestly, I think,
he's the one.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I talked to the Lord about it, and I just said, what if, how am I supposed to know when to withhold? And the Lord just said to me, I've made you to love the way you love. You love this way. So love freely. And if they take advantage of you, or they, do something wrong, that's their issue, not yours. I've made you to love, so you love freely.
So own what you own.
It released me to just be me. So that's the encouragement, and that's what I walk through, on a regular basis.
Abby, that's great. You're going to need to definitely sort of unpack that on your blog post, because I think for so many women, like you said, a lot of women, whether you're single, divorced, separated, looking, that's a big thing. Who do I trust? Who do I give my heart to? And God, I want that. Where are you? And in that new place, I need God, you with me, because I'm really alone. Kim, what are your thoughts with that response?
Oh, absolutely. I totally get that. Like, giving my heart over to my husband now, like 7 years as a single mom, and then giving that over, that's a scary thing.
Yeah.
And yet it's the most beautiful thing when we can, again, trust that God brought this person, allows us to even love. Love is risky business. You know what? It can, our hearts can be hurt, but what a beautiful thing when we are loved and we love. It's just,
that's
so
something
grateful
that someone
now.
said to me during this, when I said, I don't know if I can go through that again, is they said, yeah, you do, because you survived. And I was like, oh,
you can do it.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do it. That's great.
Yeah.
Abby, awesome.
Your turn, off me.
Me or Cheryl? Cheryl, you, and then I'm going to close it up.
So, I think you should close it up. So, because mine's pretty heavy, I'm going to start with an icebreaker. Here are two true things that I'm fearful of. The first one, do not judge me. Do not judge me.
Okay, we're not, no judgment here.
I am, and my family's laughing their heads off because they already know where I'm going with this. I am fearfully afraid of bunny rabbits.
What?
Sorry.
I said.
I'm sorry.
I said no judgment.
I'm sorry.
Like little,
and yes,
little
fluffy
rabbit,
white,
little rabbit
Easter
foo-foo?
hop, Cadbury,
Oh my
whatever.
goodness.
Does it have to do with Alice in
Little
Wonderland?
rabbit foo-foo. Oh,
sorry.
So here's the
I'm
thing.
sorry. I should have done that.
the
That's
song is fine.
horrible.
Here, the song's fine.
Okay.
Here's the thing. It seems really silly and makes no sense, but it really speaks to something different. I was about 5 or 6. I went on a field trip. We were on a farmland. I got turned around, got left in the barn, and it wasn't probably as traumatic as I think it is now. But there was bunny rabbits just jumping on. I'd fallen in the bale, and there's bunny rabbits everywhere. When you're 6,
Okay, that's a bit traumatic.
That is a little traumatic.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. There are things that we go through in life that if we were to revisit, if God could take us there, it wasn't even as horrible. But
Yes.
time
Right.
and memory and past.
Yeah, and the
begins-
emotion. Mhm.
Yeah, and you can't figure out why I can't shake this thing. And I thought that was a really powerful thing. But here's my fear. It's big confession time. So I am most heights is one, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
I love what you said about the children. I love what you said about love. Mine is going to be dying and not fulfilling my purpose.
It's a big one.
And I'm going to tell you that I think will connect with at least a few people who can
Yeah.
understand. I am a confessing moment. I am a workaholic. I have to I can't stay still. I have to constantly be doing something. I have multiple projects on the go, and I've had to check myself, why do I drive so hard? And it's because I have grown up in a family where they have always had a dream and wanted to and wished and never did. And the graveyard is the place that is filled with the most dreams lost. And I just want to do everything that God has placed in my heart. I don't want to hear whatever happened to.
Wow.
And do you remember she just had such a, I felt like God was going to do something, and then
That's it.
Wow.
Okay, that I think for a lot of us,
Yeah.
most of us, we have that fear of, if I get to my deathbed and I look back, what are the regrets? What are the things I didn't do? And how come I didn't do them? Because I was afraid to, right? Afraid of
Yeah.
failure. That's deep, eh? I think that after the show,
Yeah.
we're going to need to even just unpack it in the makeup room.
Yes.
And also on our blog post, because that's a big one. Now, I want to affirm as a sister
gonna say,
that you are
amazing.
doing so many great things for the kingdom of God, for your family.
But you know what happens with that really quickly is you run into the trap of this father pleasing.
Okay,
God, do you
yes.
see me? Do you
Right.
see me? I'm working here, and I had to learn that heart of God. You are enough. There is nothing
Yeah.
more that you can do from just opening your eyes and taking a breath. I couldn't love you more.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you didn't do anything,
I couldn't
here's
love you
and that's the thing
anymore.
for me, that somebody who has always been trying to be purposeful, trying to do.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I had to wrestle against was, but what if I did nothing?
Yeah.
Would I still be worthy? Would people still like me? Would God still think that I was a good daughter doing the work
Right.
for Him? And people said yes, because
Yeah.
He loves you,
Right.
and that's enough.
right.
And I'm like, what do you mean it's enough? Even our families, even our church culture has been go, work hard,
serve.
keep going.
Yeah,
serve,
change the world.
Go, right? And you kind of go at a point, you're like, okay, and then you keep going, and at this, frenetic pace, and all of a sudden there are moments where like, I'm exhausted, and I don't even think I'm
Right.
doing stuff effectively.
Right.
Right?
And I'm empty.
Wow, that's a big one. Oh, well, I would
yours?
say there was, at first I chose in line with Abby, but on mine, I'll be honest, and this is like very open. I have feared getting old. I have feared getting older, which is strange because it's inevitable. Just like actually dying, it's inevitable for all of us. That I would not be relevant.
Oh my
That
gosh,
I would not.
yes.
This isn't
I
that
know
I would not be
exactly
relevant.
where
I
you're
would not
going.
get opportunities as I became an older woman.
Yeah.
That I wasn't young and able to do the things that as I got older, people would look at me and go, you're washed up, straight up.
Yeah.
And as you change and your body changes, and as you move through your seasons, it's been really difficult. But here's the thing, and that fear, it's a funny thing because you can't stop it. Time marches on,
Right.
you get older, birthdays come and go.
But look at the field that Melinda's in. You're in media, where that matters.
And exactly, that's
Right.
another part. Add on top media where
Yeah.
people like judge you
Yes.
on
Right.
how you look and present yourself.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of that fear, and this is the first time I've really shared that. And I would say how I've pushed through is this. Number one, I would say what I'm thankful for is a culture, and lately, Christian or not, that are celebrating the older woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am seeing that more in magazines,
Right.
in media, in written word, in women rallying and saying, we esteem you.
Yeah.
We love that you have the experience and are mentoring young people. And I'm like, well, that's good, because before it was always about youth
Yes.
and being young, and now I'm seeing that in culture. I also think that what I've noticed is just like fine wine, you know,
Amen.
as you get
Yes.
older, there is this part of depth and maturity that
Yeah.
comes with age. That all of a sudden people look at you and go, "Oh, you've got all this experience. Now I want to give you these opportunities." And so, Abby, that's what you can look forward to, because it's taken me a while to get there.
Right.
And so I have a
Grown
benefit.
into your speaking opportunities.
Absolutely.
Because they can trust you, right?
I've grown in that opportunities, just like launching this initiative.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think that's the encouragement. I know we don't have much time and we want to wrap this up, but Kim, Cheryl, Abby, any last thoughts about, as you looked at your fears, what some takeaways or encouragement we can give to our viewers about pushing through those fears?
I have one sentence for someone that's watching. Fear cannot take what you will not give it.
Yeah.
Good. Love it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Kim, what are your last thoughts?
That was so awesome. Can you write that down? Yeah.
It will be. We'll
Yeah.
definitely put that on the blog post.
Also, people need
yeah.
to know they're not
You know,
alone.
Just continually, it's a continual walk with Jesus and handing over everything, right? Our fears, our life, and going, I trust you and I will not be afraid. Sometimes we have to say that a lot in our own heads. I will not be afraid. And moving on, because here we still are and we're going forward.
That's so good.
That's good. You know what I just realized? We've been so like with our thoughts about this that we do need to, because it's Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, look at all of
me
us. We're like so
too.
intense. It's Wednesday, and we literally have 0 time, but we're gonna add in a bit of time. But Wednesday's our special day, and we have to make sure we always get this in. Cheryl, tell it quickly and throw it to Kim, because we have to feature this woman.
Well, world, Wednesday has become the new Sunday, and it is the best time of our week where we get to lift up, celebrate, and encourage a woman that is doing amazing things. The Bible says to esteem our brother higher than ourselves, so we want to do that for our girls. And today, Kim has an amazing woman's crush who is changing the world. Kim, drum roll.
Woo!
Okay, so my Women Crush Wednesday is a gal named Tammy Trent.
Woo! Yes.
I love her. She lives here in Nashville, and I haven't gone to her doorstep yet, but I'm going to. But I actually met her several years ago, right there in the studio. I was co-hosting a show with you, Melinda, and she was our guest. And Tammy has quite the story. She's a singer. She's on the road. Her and her husband were this awesome team. But on 9/11, they were on a vacation, and he went diving and actually lost his life. Hit his head on one of those coral reefs and never went home with her. And she was stranded there because in the USA, 9/11's happening, and this world, she's like, I thought my whole world was ending. She was, and actually my world really did end in some ways. But she has taken tragedy and loss, because he was the love of her life, and she has found her song again. And I remember when we were interviewing her several years ago now, just listening to her courage and talk about walking through fear,
right.
and walking through stuff that you never think that you are going to, and going, God, where are you? I remember being in the green room with her, and I was a new single mom. So in some ways, even though our stories were so different, just connected with her, because she's like, I remember just yelling at God going, but I don't know how to change the filter in the furnace. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she was just like, I've crawled out of the car some days going, God, I just need you. And here's this woman all these years later still singing. She then went on to travel and speak at so many events, and she still does, and she sings her heart, and she's written so many amazing songs, and I love her. And the thing I love the most about Tammy Trent is that she's crazy. She's so funny. Like, I laugh at her stuff all the time. I too totally stalk her on Instagram and Facebook, and she is precious. She can make you laugh till your stomach hurts, and completely give a word from Jesus that will just just speak to the very depths of your being.
Amazing.
I love Tammy Trent. I am going to call her up. We're going to have coffee and we're going to eat pizza and we're going to be BFFs.
That a girl.
Love it.
I
Well
love
done.
it. Thank you, Kim. And you know what? I know that you're going to mention more about her, and on our blog posts and online, we'll have some information about Tammy, because we just want to celebrate her. And
Yes.
what an example of pushing through fear when your husband, passes away from a tragedy like that. What an inspiration. So way to go, Tammy. Well, we are completely out of time.
Yes.
Cheryl, Abby, Kim, thank you for sharing your greatest fears with not just us, but to the world. That takes a lot of courage. And so just want to thank you again for being with us today. If you want to support us with prayers and financially, please do. There's a donate button on our site, and we can't do this show without financial gifts from you and from friends and family. So we'd so appreciate it, as well as check out our amazing partners and sponsors and our blog posts. We'd love to connect with you. Anyway, we will see you Friday. Thanks for spending today with us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.